Hello and welcome to the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast. It is Friday, February 11th. In this episode, Manchester United continue to drop points. The relegation battle may have a new friend. But first, Mike, are you ready for some football? And by that, I mean the Super Bowl in Tottenham.
Yeah.
Our friends at Chop Sports want to know, what are your thoughts?
I want it to happen, not because it's a revenue-generating piece for Spurs, not because I want the Super Bowl to be earlier and I want to go to sleep, but because all these fucking knuckle draggers who don't know what the fuck they're talking about would have to be, soccer isn't that gay, I guess. Shut the fuck up, you goddamn morons. It is such an opportunity, not just for Tottenham, but for the world, to be like, oh, the Super Bowl is a spectacle. We talk about it on the show all the time about how the Champions League final is like, there was like 40 minutes of pregame. We have 2 weeks for the Super Bowl. This is our opportunity to show Europe, hey, this is actually how you do it this way, right? So
I see your point.
I want it. I want it bad.
And then I have a follow-up because it trucked in, and then we'll do the scores.
But it's so interesting that, like I said, I've been to North London. It is a shithole. So I want to know where they're going to pop up Radio Row, right? Like everything is so condensed. It's effectively having
it's a big. Well, they would do it like in London where they do the studios for the BBC, and
right?
Then they would, the day of the game they'd go there. But
they would.
The idea
like when it was in New York, right?
Or the idea of pre-gaming, they would just destroy London. It would be a catastrophe.
Oh my god, I know. That's the thing. There's no parking lots.
No, you just have to be in the streets.
But there's pubs, right? So they would actually, what they might do, which would be awesome, if they took over the number 8, if they took over the Billy Nick and all of these other pubs around the stadium, and they're like, hey, we're going to give you, what do you usually make on a game day? Cool, we'll triple it. We own this pub today. Yeah. Right? Like,
now, I do have a question. How big, and then we'll go into the scores, how big would a Premier League playoff final be? Let's say they took the top 4 and just did 1v4, 2-3, and then the winner of 2-3 plays 1-4.
So you have to look at it 2 ways. Would it be for the last Champions League spot, like it is with
No,
promotion?
It would be for the title.
It would be for the title. It would be bigger than the Super Bowl immediately.
But what if they moved it around the world and we're just like, it's going to be in Singapore, but you knew 5 years in advance?
No, it has to be at Wembley. It has to.
Okay. But the FA would be like, don't fuck with our money.
Right.
It might get in trouble around things.
I don't like that it's at Wembley, but it has to be.
So they're talking about it in Germany to sort of break the Bayern Munich thing of maybe having a playoffs in Germany to determine the champion. Playoffs make things more random.
It makes the season longer because usually in Germany the season's over by now because nobody fucking cares.
Yeah, but the question I have is, would the final wouldn't be 2 legs, but would the playoffs be 2 legs?
Playoffs would have to be 2 legs. Yes.
Then that means Bayern's going to win anyway.
Yeah, and that means Liverpool's going to win. Yeah,
but as long as you don't fuck with the Champions League, there's no difference between top 4 and finishing first. So who cares?
There's a trophy.
But aside from that, right? But so money wise,
you downplay the actual first place finisher. Then,
yes,
right? Yeah, I'm all for it. I'm absolutely all for it.
Yeah.
Especially
I am not because my team finds ways to lose these fucking
exactly. You unequivocally have the most to lose, and it's not even close. Right?
We'll do something stupid.
Yeah. No, it's a great idea. Let's get into the scores, and then we can talk about how I want to kill myself.
For you. Okay, let us go through the scores. West Ham scratch and bite and claw their way past Watford 1-0 with my boy and son Bowen scoring the winner. Good for them. Newcastle United welcome their new friends to the relegation fight. Everton, they played well. Kieran Trippier looking like Spurs Kieran Trippier with the free kick. St. Maximin bossing it. If I can love St. Maximin more, I don't know how I could. Manchester United put up a 2.1 in expected goals to Burnley's 0.6, but draw at Turf Moor. Ooh, the Boo Birds are out. But
the Burnleyest Burnley game ever.
Yeah, the Burnleyest Burnley game. I do think, and I will talk about it when we get closer to the game. And then Southampton, you can admit it, they fucking killed Spurs in the first half, like scary kill.
No.
And they
No.
win 3-2 on a
Deserved.
pretty good and fun game.
Deserved
Norwich
winners.
claw their way forward 1-1 with Zaha scoring an amazing goal and then taking the worst penalty I've ever seen. They should have won their game. That was the first time I've ever watched highlights and Gallagher wasn't in them. City, Cruz, they're at the point of just like, they're so good. They're so boring. They are now in Albert Pujols mode. They win 2-0 versus Brentford. John Stones
don't cover.
left back.
They didn't cover. I thought about it. I didn't bet on them. They were 2.5. I've never seen. I mean, I haven't seen.
They were 2.5 goal favorite.
Yeah, I haven't seen that since like they played Norwich, and I went.
That is brutal.
I feel like
Aston Villa and Leeds in Gerrard versus Bielsa at Villa Park. It's tied on. It is a tie on expected goals and a tie on the field. 3-3. I think we have an emerging new English hero in Jacob Ramsey. He is incredible. And then Liverpool dispatch of center backless Leicester City 2-0 at home. Jota bosses the game and regular service is resumed. I will add in Chelsea advanced to the final of the Club World Cup. That's where they were. Oh, and Arsenal win 1-0 versus the Kitty Cats of Wolves. I kind of had a feeling either it was going to be 0-0 or Arsenal would win 1-0, but they celebrated a little bit too hard for Wolves' liking. But where do you want to go? You can choose.
Well,
United,
we have to
Southampton,
start.
Or
we have to start with Spurs, and I don't want to. And I just
that was brutal.
Ooh, that one hurt, man. That one hurt. I think there's a case.
Before
to
you
me.
start, can I go back one step?
Yeah.
Before you start on the lamenting about Spurs, Southampton are really fucking good.
No, they're not.
Do this.
They're
do.
Not.
They
are.
They're
not.
They have games like this where you're just like, where the fuck is this team from?
They ran the gamut of everything Southampton are, right? Because in the second minute, Che Adams missed literally from as far away as I am from the fucking camera right now. Yeah. He missed. And he just bonked it off of Lloris's like thigh, right? So
Lloris was good.
Lloris is always good. He's the only consistent performer, save for injuries, over the last 3 years. Kane has come and gone. Sonny has come and gone. He has always been there when he's been in the lineup, right? So I mean,
he was really good.
My heart bleeds for him. Thank God he got the World Cup.
I have a question. When was the last time Southampton had played?
Oh, I don't know. I have no fucking idea.
Were they in the FA Cup? Probably not.
Yes, they were.
Were they?
They were.
They must have lost.
Yeah, I believe that no, I think they lost.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because they go into Tottenham Hotspur's stadium and the future,
to be frank,
the future host of the Super Bowl, and they so okay. Back it up a couple of weeks. December 28th, they play at St. Mary's, and
you guys get the shit kicked out of you and steal a game.
No, we drew 1-1. That was the game where they went down to 10 men. I think it was Kyle Walker-Peters actually who got the red card. Yes. And then you have the unfortunate Kane offside, which wasn't, and then they held on like grim death and they got a point out of it. Fine. So I really went into this game going, James Ward-Prowse exists, but nobody else on their team is any fucking good. And that was one major miscalculation I made.
Yeah, they're better than that.
Broha or
he's
whatever.
Good.
He's not just good. What is he? He's a Chelsea loanee. And what do Chelsea loanees love?
They like to fuck with you.
A game against Tottenham. And so we're up 1-0. Everything seems to be under control. Ben Davies literally spins out in his own zone, in his own box.
Right, but I take umbrage with that. There were chances after that. That was the first phase of the mistake that kept Southampton in the zone. Like, there was still chances to get out of that.
Okay, but like, sort of. Like, that was like, hey, hoof it up.
That was a clearance. Yeah, I understand. But there was a good 10 seconds and you guys were still in position. Sure.
And so he fit Broha. It falls to Broha. Really classy finish.
Really.
And it's 1-1. And I'm like, Chris, who we had on the show, Chris and I were talking about it. He was actually going to the airport, so he was watching the first half in depth. And he goes, this is like playing drunk FIFA, right? Like he was kind of back and forth, post being hit.
We never do this, but I'm going to do this because I want to give you a sense of how bad the first half was for you. All right?
All right.
I have to show you this because it's fucking very intense. Okay, so we're sharing the screen. No, sorry, I'm gonna share a tab. That'll do better. All right, here we go. Okay, that's a lot of shots and attempts in a row in the first half. So, okay, that's some fucking intense shit. All of that in a row. That's from there down. It's all Southampton. You got the shit kicked out of you for a half, for sure. It was bad.
Yeah. So,
you know.
but it was just an onslaught. It was Højbjerg was so bad again.
He was so bad. Oh my God.
He was just giving the ball away left and right, and like it was in positions where it wasn't an imminent attack. If you would have classified this in like fantasy, it's not an error that leads to a shot, but it was like an error that leads to like dangerous possession.
Yeah, more time without the ball.
Yeah, but like in the early stage of like our half, like that's where the ball was always intercepted. And the problem is that when you're going forward and you're trying to make a pass like that, your players are moving with you. So if you give the ball away in that position, everybody's caught with their pants down. So
all right, you ready? Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Here's how you know that fucking Højbjerg was bad. He made 35 pass attempts. Only one was progressive. So that means a completed pass that moves the ball forward at least 10 yards from his furthest point in the last 6 passes. So he's not moving the ball forward at all.
Right.
He has carried the ball, but Winks is the far better midfielder in terms of taking the ball and moving it forward. He couldn't seem to. My thing with Højbjerg is he's clearly better than this. And to me, he's had to play so much that maybe he needs a break. Maybe he needs to rest. I think he's in the Eriksen phase of just like, can I just like not play? Because I'm tired.
Yeah.
Because it seems like he was good under Mourinho. He sort of had some good roles. He and Sissoko, when Spurs played well, were the reason they played well. But he can't seem to move the ball forward. He doesn't seem to find anyone. And Spurs weren't really functioning in the midfield. And Romeo, I never get his name.
Oriol
Romeo, and James Ward-Prowse, who are good midfielders, but not fast, just fucking dominated the team. And then again, Royal was just, I know Davies made a mistake, but Royal, he just, when there are goals given up, he seems to be within them. If there are hockey assists for errors, he's the fucking Wayne Gretzky of fuck ups.
Yeah.
He's got a Trent Alexander-Arnold quality to him without the offense.
Without the quality, right. Yeah, and I mean, he's
very upright. He kind of is always standing with his feet together, standing up. And you're like, you got to get low. You got to be side on. You've got to move these guys around.
He's a right back. He is not a wing back. And by putting him in that position, by the way, next to Davinson Sanchez, who's no spring chicken either at this point. I'm like, what are you doing here still? Which is weird because there was reports like Conte liked him, and I'm like, stop doing this to me. You put him in that wingback position.
He's still 25 years old.
But it invites liability, right? Like say, hey, go get further up the field. And like we said, he's not Trent. He's not even Serge Aurier. And then it puts him in a disadvantageous position to defend, which is actually what he's decent at when he's playing a proper right back. Right?
Can I talk about the 2 James Ward-Prowse crosses and goals?
Yeah. You mean,
do you not know that he's out there? Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
He just like he did the same play twice in like 5 minutes. Like, what are you doing?
So
he's there. Stop it.
He literally drew comparisons to De Bruyne with those balls, and it makes a lot of sense, and I don't disagree. The difference is that De Bruyne has that freedom and creativity and that space because City has 11 stars. And you're like, I can't cover all of them like this.
Yeah.
But you fucking can for Southampton. You just get a man on 8.
Stop that guy. Like, here's what we're doing. Hey, Højbjerg, just mark him. I don't care where they're going.
Yeah.
And mark him.
Yeah, and so for those who didn't watch the game and didn't see, Spurs go up 1-0. And Southampton tied on a ping pong ball. Each team has their chances. Spurs probably should have been 2-1 up. And then
Spurs go up
simultaneously,
2-1, and you think they've got this.
you do, because it's a great ball. Speed down the wing. Lucas puts it into the box. Sonny
Really
with
good
his
goal. Really
patented
good
sliding
finish.
goal.
All of it was
Oh,
good.
mwah, fantastic.
Quality.
And it was at that moment, and we were talking during the game, where I was like, I just missed Sonny. I know I say some mean things about him sometimes, but God damn it. When he gets on the end of one of those, you're like, oh, it's in. Like, no problem.
But then you see the angle of his foot. I mean, he made it into like the face of a golf club. It was just
fantastic. And he goes, he actually kicks it across his body into the side netting on the far side.
I know. Really
fantastic finish. And then you go, all right, like, let's go. We're okay here. And then for whatever reason,
changes come on. So Kulusevski comes on from Mora. Makes sense.
Right. And then they take off Højbjerg for Betancourt. So, I mean, hey, new guy, go follow number 8. I know you don't really know who he is, but just trust me on this one. Follow number 8. I don't know if it was that was the exact change, but he came on shortly thereafter, and then it just didn't work, man.
Yeah, just I don't know. It's the Ward-Prowse thing of just like, come on, man. It's the 4-2-2-2-2-2. It's Hasenhüttl's playing basically Rangnick style. Hasenhüttl was hired by Rangnick at Red Bull and Salzburg. So these are two. This is the same style that people are saying, Man United can't play this. But I give this credit to our friends at Southampton. They play as a team. They play as a unit. Salisu is fucking incredible. And if he doesn't get bought this year, he's going to get bought next year. He's 22. He's the rock. Southampton will do it again. He'll probably go to Liverpool to replace Van Dijk when he's 27. And then we'll be like, but still, just an incredible team. Will play as a unit. Fraser Foster being back in the side is amazing because
he made a couple of really nice saves.
Under the Pochettino era, he was the goalkeeper who was fucking killer. And then he sort of went into the wilderness when everyone thought, hey, everyone has to play out from the back. But your 6'8" goalkeeper who's built like a brick shithouse is not exactly game for that.
Right.
But I've always liked him. I always thought that he was a really good goalkeeper. And I just liked the size of him. I was like, I'm not fucking with that guy. My team is all of a sudden tougher.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I mean, we've talked about Southampton in the past where they do fade down the stretch, but somebody had this team at 12th in their preseason rankings, and they're very close. They're in 10th.
So we have to talk about one more moment in this game. One more moment, and I promise we'll move on.
And I've got Arsenal nearly in 5th, so I am doing well.
right after. They make it 3-2 in the 82nd minute, and you're just sitting there. You're like, did that really just fucking happen?
I forgot about the great and powerful.
Steven Bergwijn fashions his cape, and he gets on out there. What minute was this in? This was in the 83rd. Really, literally, as soon as the ball goes in, Conte goes, Bergwijn, get your fucking ass up. He takes Reguilon off, and in the 93rd minute,
had a chance early in the game.
He did. No, that's what I mean. Foster made a couple of good saves. In the 93rd minute, there were 6 extra minutes, just like at Leicester. So there's a chance for heroism here. You're literally saying there's no fucking way they'll do this again. That ended up being true. Steven Bergwijn is a pinball in the box. It falls right to him, bangs it home, and
good finish. Opposite foot inside of the
he's now that. I said it at the time. Leicester, that game changed his career. Like, you could see, he's like, no problem, get the ball, let's fucking go do it again. Like, he was ready, and it doesn't go. The flag does not go up for offsides, which made it worse because they go to VAR and he's clearly offside. But there was a moment where I was like, we're gonna win this fucking game. And like, if they had just gone, yep, hold on, everybody stop, it's offside. No, although he was offside though.
I know.
So I don't
but the
care.
big news is they're actually getting near my dream of automated electronic offside that takes 3 seconds.
Okay.
For the World Cup, maybe. That would be really, really fantastic. Because then it's just like, oh, done. Because the pausing and the waiting is the brutal part. Even though I hate VAR. I want no VAR. I'd rather have none. By the way, just my thing.
Oh, I know.
Let's go into another friend in the top 4. So clearly, your team doesn't want to be in the top 4. The other team that thinks they're in the top 4 doesn't want to be in the top 4 either, and that's Manchester United, who draw 1-1.
Yeah.
Burnley. Everyone hates Burnley. You can't like them. They're fucking evil. They're an annoying thing. In the first half, Manchester United completely, utterly totally dominate Burnley. They have 10 shots on goal in the first half alone. Burnley have none. And in the second half, Mr. Dyche does get his. Is Burnley the worst team in the league? They're the oldest team in the league. Yes, but I don't think they're going to go down. Why? Dyche.
No, they are. Look,
Dyche lays the fucking wood on them. They come out and they play really good stuff. What's his name? Wygo, their new player, turns it on in the second half. He's 6'7". He's got twinkle toes, and they get the assist to Jay Rodriguez. They get their goal, and Pogba scored early. I missed the first half goal by Pogba.
Here's why they're going down. And again, I've always been the guy. Well, they have games at hand, and listen, they're performing. They've gotten draws.
This point is valuable. The other point was not.
But it's not, because you're not going to catch Newcastle. You might catch Everton at this point, but you're not going to catch Newcastle. They're getting it figured out, and their new signings are making the difference. And again, like we always say, 2 wins makes a huge difference in this race, right? Look at Newcastle's last 2 were victories. They've gotten points from the last 4. Norwich gotten points from the last 3, including 2 of those being wins. Watford struggling, and Burnley is keeping their heads above water.
I guess your your point is they're not better than 3 teams.
Right.
They all could play better. They're not better than the 3 of them.
And I really think at this stage, I don't see them. Look, they haven't done enough with their games at hand because the paradigm has changed, right? Like Newcastle and Norwich went, no, here's where the bar is now. And Burnley are like, oh, fuck, we weren't ready for that. So like they still have the 2 games in hand. They could still win both of them. They won't. But like they can no longer play Burnley draws, and that keeps us afloat because the game has changed to the point where Newcastle are playing to stay in the league. Burnley are planning to not go down, right? Like there's the difference. And I think that unfortunately in this race, I think we're going to finally say goodbye to Sean Dyche and Burnley, but we'll see.
Yeah,
I mean, it's going
to take, I'm just scrolling back the last 5-6 seasons. You got to have at least 9 wins. Where are they finding 8 more wins?
8 more wins.
That's a fuck ton.
No, they don't need 8 more wins, but they need like 5.
At least.
They need 5 more wins, right? That's 15 points. That gets them to 29 points, and it's pretty close.
Not enough.
I don't think it'll be enough, but it'll get them close if they win 5 more games, which I don't know. I don't see.
It might be one of these seasons where you need, what's the number? 36, 35?
To stay up or to just
to stay up.
Yeah, 35. So they'll need.
It's not going to be 40. It has
7 more wins, not 8. So yeah. I mean, that's. Is it mathematically doable? Of course, but I don't see them.
Those 11 draws are.
They're no longer competing against themselves with the games in hand because now they're genuinely competing against 3 other teams, and I just don't see them beating all of those guys out. And
unless
Everton craters. You're right.
We are seeing, by the way, someone usually collapses, and we are seeing our beloved Brentford really starting to have a hard time. Yeah. They are winless in their last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. They've dropped 6 in a row.
Yeah.
And 9 of their last 11.
Now hold on. Let's stop on Brentford for a second. We said, and they came up and they were our darlings, and we love Thomas Frank, and we're so interested. And what do we always talk about? How the ownership will not make a move if the performances are good, right? If the underlying stats say, you were hard done by on those 6-game stretch, you probably could have gotten 2 or 3 of them, right? I don't see a lot of that from Brentford, really.
Well, I will say they had an XG of 1.3 and lost Wolves, and Wolves only had a 0.2. They had an XG against City of 2.2, and City
against Manchester City?
Against United, excuse me.
Oh,
yeah, United, they should have won. They got destroyed by Liverpool. That's fine. That's expected. They lost to Southampton. So one of these 5 that they lost in a row, they could have won. It probably should have at least drawn, maybe won one of them. But
right, and they're not in danger.
No,
right?
No, not yet.
Not yet. They're getting there. But they're not in danger. And so I wonder if there's rumblings, right? Because you've seen
The
the
Everton question looms. Are
right.
Everton really that bad? Or better yet, is Frank Lampard actually a good coach? Because the question I have for Everton, and I don't know, I need to learn more about Evertonians, is how Michael Keane still plays is beyond me. He's
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
He's like a shit Harry Maguire, and Harry Maguire's shit. And they signed players as much as we love Delhi, as much as we love Van der Beek, and we love
These
other
are
players.
reclamation
They're
projects.
theoretical, they're
Right.
right, and they're not defenders, right?
Well,
So
yeah.
I mean, whereas you see Newcastle, you can see Trippier and Target have already changed Newcastle,
Mhm.
right? Already. They
Yeah.
are already looking better, and that's before Dan Burn has even gotten into the center of defense. So I feel good about where Newcastle is, and they have a talisman. I mean, say Maximin is just a guy you can hoof it to him, and
Mhm.
he'll steal 2 games a month. Like, I mean, that's a lot.
He only needs to steal one at this point,
Yeah,
realistically.
yeah.
So
So
yeah,
I
I
do.
just I wonder
It is a battle.
if Everton can kind of take their place, but yeah, Burnley. The only thing they've still got going for them too, and is in a draw, they have the goal difference, right, by a lot.
Yes.
So if they can get close, that's literally worth one extra point.
The thing is, the only teams that they're better than, surely, they're better than Watford and Norwich, but they have to catch them still.
Probably. They have to beat them though. They don't have to like they have to. Did they have both of them on the schedule still?
I don't know. I have to look.
Let me look at their schedule. I don't. No, that's tough.
They
Liverpool,
got it.
Brighton, Tottenham, Palace away, Leicester, Chelsea, Brentford, Southampton, Man City. From
Where are the
now,
wins? Where are the wins?
there's not a point in that stretch.
Yeah, they needed that
I mean,
Watford game.
they'll steal a point from Spurs because I hate myself, and maybe they'll beat Leicester. But God, they're gonna get.
They got Norwich. Like, what
You
did
know
we say?
what?
They need to get the 6 wins. They've got to beat Norwich. They've got to get a point versus Brighton. That last game of the season will probably
Oh,
be
I hope that's a good game.
like a massive, massive game. Well, they still wait. They still have Norwich. They still have Wolves. They still have Newcastle. Basically, those are must wins, all of them.
This is not. This is looking really bad. That now I know why their goal difference is what it is. They hadn't played Liverpool twice. They hadn't played Chelsea, City. Fucking
No,
like they're gonna
yeah.
get. You know what? Wait. Okay. Where are they now? They're at -11 on April 2nd, which is the last game of that stretch that I just said. They're gonna be -25. Easy.
Oh, there's 2 games they have to make up. They have to make up Villa and Everton. That Everton game,
No.
massive.
The Tottenham game was a makeup.
Yeah, but I'm saying on the schedule here, I haven't seen a replication of match week 19 or 18 or 19.
Okay,
So they do
but
have to
yeah.
make up. They have to make up Villa away and home versus Everton. Also, massive
Yeah.
games. They basically have to beat all their rivals. They've got Everton as a win, Brentford as a win. That's 2. Watford as a win. That's 3. Newcastle as a win. That's 4. Those are the games they've got
They're
to
not
win.
better than Newcastle though.
They're not, but they could. At home, final week of the season to stay up.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, if there's a game that they have to win, that's the one they have to win.
Yeah.
Anyway,
No. You're right.
we did a lot of relegation battle. We should probably give some points to our friends at Arsenal who get a win, but their boo birds and problems still show up. They're an undisciplined team, and Martinelli gets a red. A double yellow on a single play, which I don't think I've ever seen before. So he interferes on a throw-in after someone dispossesses him and he loses the ball. Then he slows down throw-in, sort of pushes a guy. Then after the throw-in happens, he runs half the field and just takes the guy out. And he gets a double yellow on a single play. I didn't think you could do that.
It's impressive, right? And so they have their struggles and whatever, but here they are. They are
within a shout, the fuckers.
They have a point. They're a point behind. They're alone in 5th place because they have goal difference on Man United. A point behind West Ham for 4th with 2 games ahead on them and 1 game on United. So This is why the Southampton game hurts so much for Spurs, because this should have been the conversation we're having about Tottenham and Arsenal. We were hurtling towards a North London face-off for the last Champions League spot, right? Just because based on how many more games in hand they have on United. So they could have put United in the rearview mirror while they've had their wobble. And Spurs are like, we don't want to play.
Yeah, your team's underlying quality is better, although Arsenal's is still got the stink of those early defeats that really damaged their goal difference. You guys are equal on losses. They have one more win out of their extra game in hand. So they're actually quite close to each other. Defense is close. Your scoring woes early are showing up in goal difference. But you've improved. Spurs have improved over the break, and you'd assume that they would get better. But like I said with Arsenal, they are the youngest team in the league and have the most room for growth. And they got rid of their oldest players. So they're actually even younger now. They really have the lowest amount of age in the league. You do have a concern up front. It's really going to be Lacazette and Nketiah all the time. I don't know. I do fundamentally think that the loss of Aubameyang is not a loss. I think
it's more
he checked out on that team a long time ago.
He's not, I wouldn't say he's like an Antonio Brown level asshole, but like he's an asshole. And his virus was going through the changing room, and he was to the point like, yeah, I know that Arteta said you have to do that, but you don't have to do that shit. Like that's kind of the attitude that you can't have with young, hungry players. That is literally career cancer to these kids, because you see these guys chomping at the bit, doing anything they can to get minutes and to play for the shirt and all that. And Aubameyang wasn't doing any of that. He was sitting there making high wages, walking in the door whenever literally he wanted and playing. And so to get rid of him is a win.
Yeah. I think the next one to go, I think that is the last piece that needs to change, is as much as Granit Xhaka is a pain in the ass, he at least fights, and he does, and they're stupid, like he does dumb things. But I think the last piece to move to kick them on is a replacement for Xhaka, because he still holds them back. I've always liked Lacazette. I tend to like him. I'm sure Arsenal fans don't like him, but when I watch him, he's active. He drops deep. He's trying to link things. He talks to players. He wants to take penalties. So maybe he's not the greatest goal scorer. Like he's at a per 90 of 0.26, which is really bad for a goal scorer. You kind of want to be, the really good ones are at 0.4, 0.5. Though like that, a goal every other game is really, really good. But overall, as a leader on the team, I like Lacazette leading the line, especially with Saka and Smith Rowe, or whoever those young legs that are running, they run off him all the time.
Right.
So I like where Arsenal are. I like where my bets are. If you had to draft the rest of the season, whose rest of the season would you take? Now, I'm not putting you on the spot because you have to look at people's schedules, but to me, of these top six, whose rest of the season would I want? Arsenal's probably have the most upside. Honestly.
Spurs have the extra game in hand, but I mean, yeah. And Arsenal's not in any of the cups, which helps.
Yep, they got nothing.
What I'll say is though, Arsenal's games in hand are against Liverpool and Chelsea.
They'll lose. So they're not good enough.
They're not good enough. So it's almost
the top three are so much better than everyone else. They're not really.
Yeah, but like but when you look at the table, the matches played sticks out to you, and Arsenal, you would think, are in an advantageous position because they have 2 games in hand on West Ham and just a point behind, like I mentioned, but not really, right? Like they're playing games, and if City wobbles, this is like Liverpool and Chelsea, like those games are going to come in that like wobble area if it comes. But like my point is that the league won't be mathematically over yet when those games are played.
No. I think I actually got scared. So we can go into Liverpool just beating Leicester, no problem, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Oh, shocking! Leicester gave up a goal on a set piece. They never do that. They actually have given up 13 goals on set pieces. To put that into context, Arsenal have given up 25 goals all season.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
Yeah.
10 on corners, which is just an incredible number. And I understand Rodgers being like, fuck it. Let's just not play any center backs. We're giving up goals anyway. At least Soyuncu won't be running around with his head chopped off and his samurai piece on. But Liverpool are scaring me now because they got their good lineups in.
Well, they got through it.
They got through it, but now they're adding. And like they've got the horses, man. They've got like
they do.
Thiago is back. And their young midfielders are all coming through. You could see the path forward. Now they've got Jota. Now they've got more depth on the wing. They can slowly start to ease Mane out because he's probably been playing too much. I would assume that it'll be Jota, Diaz, Salah, Firmino, and Mane will get cleared out, and they'll have that change in the front that they've been dying for basically 2 years.
This is a tough stretch for City too.
I'm not worried about City.
No. Well, going through, like I said, the early April, you don't have much of a challenge in the Champions League, which is fine. But you've got Spurs, which is an El Dushiko, which is never fun for you guys. Everton should be an easy one. You've got United, Palace away, and then your beloved Brighton, all waiting for that.
You know what?
April
Palace
9th
away
showdown.
and Brighton are fucking tough.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, those are real games.
And then April 9th, if you wobble, here comes Liverpool into the Etihad. So
it's
that's
got
your
to be
season.
City have got to have a 9-point lead going into that game.
I agree.
Because if it's 6 and it goes down to 3, then it's fucking squeaky bum time.
It certainly is. Drink. We said the name.
Right? Because I don't want. You know what? You're just saying that. I know I am the biggest fucking pussy loser ass hat ever.
Agreed.
I do not trust City at all. Still.
I would say to answer your question of who in the top 6, whose schedule would I like the best? Because I was just kind of walking through it. United.
Yeah, but we said that a month ago and they squandered it.
Yeah, but they're still like, I mean, they play.
They don't
have an easy schedule, but they don't have an easy schedule. They have a kind of a tough road, but like, it's never in a row.
Yeah, you know where I am with United. I have turned now. They're just not good. It's 3 coaches. They just don't have the players. They're literally just not like they're as like I feel about Spurs and Arsenal and United. And West Ham. No, not West Ham. Arsenal, United, and Tottenham are equal. There's no difference between them. So it's going to be whose plan can come into play. And I think Tottenham now has the best coach, probably has the weaker of the 3 squads in terms of upside. United is probably the weakest of the 3. And I like Arsenal's youth, but that's only because I just like the idea of youth. And I do think that Arteta has won every power struggle that has come through. He's gotten directors of football out. He got from coach to general manager, to manager. He's now got Aubameyang out. Whoever bought him, whoever backed him, whoever gave him that contract, he's out. He was just in the U.S. during the break to talk to fucking Conte and to the Kroenke. So he's consolidating power in himself, and he's young and has energy. Yep. So, I mean, I don't think they probably don't have the best squad, but it's starting to be more cohesive where you can see the wins and you go, when they play the big teams, they'll get beat, and that's fine. But you don't see those drop off. Like this Wolves game was a dangerous game for them, and I think that's why they celebrated so much. Because they were like, yo, this is the game we would have lost because mentality-wise, we wouldn't have been up for the fight.
Well, but think about it. It's a paradigm shifting game for the top middle of the table, if you will, right?
It's a separator.
It says, hey, Wolves, no, actually, you don't have a seat at this table.
They're not. And I think Wolves losing track. One of the things this is something I wanted to talk about. One of the things I think happens in transfers is what is the psychological value of your team being boosted? What does that say to the team, right? What does it say to Wolves that you're where you are and we're doing okay? Yeah, but we're going to sell this guy because we really don't think we can do anything. Or on the other side of it is we're Liverpool and we're really good. We're second in the league and we just got the best player in Portugal on our team. And you can go, fuck, that's awesome, right? Yeah. Or for instance, like I think the Grealish purchase really was one of those things where people were like, what the fuck? Right? Or had it been Kane, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck you guys.
Well,
But
yeah, I mean,
even though he's
there's
not
different.
really, he's not really done much for City. It's
So
still
I think it's temporary. One, whatever the effect is fleeting. But two, there's different ways. If it's a player that you feel like is at a position of need, it spurs the whole
and
team
better
on.
than your guys.
And better than you guys, it spurs the whole team on. Everybody's like, "Fuck yeah,
Yes.
this guy's going to come in. He's going to make a difference."
Yeah, it's
With
not
Grealish,
Callum Chambers as a booster for defense.
right?
Where you're just like, what?
But if Grealish comes into your room and you're Manchester City and you've got Foden and De Bruyne and Mahrez and Sterling and all these guys who are basically at Grealish's level, you go,
what do you got?
What are you doing here, dude? Like, you cost 100 million? Why? We have 4 of you.
Yeah.
So we could have used one of those shiny things, but we didn't. We got another one of us.
I do, and I had said this earlier in the year. Grealish is not for this season. Grealish
I know.
is decline of De Bruyne insurance. Although he's not
scared. They got scared watching the Euros, saying, "Shit, we got to go at him now."
Yeah, because I don't think that they thought it was conceivable that Kevin De Bruyne would just be washed.
Right.
Because he's
absolutely watching him in the Euros. Absolutely, that was possible.
Yeah, he got his ass kicked. But I do want to talk about another amazing game. We did give a little short shrift to Everton being pulled into the fight. We talked Newcastle and Trippier, and they really battered. I mean, they put 10 shots on goal. So Eddie Howe's got his team playing really well. I think Newcastle, St. James's Park will be a huge advantage. And I think Newcastle might pull away. I think that positive juice, it seems like Trippier's taken the team on and grabbed it and said, this is how we fucking win. I was just coached by Simeone. I have PTSD. I'm just happy to be here. And
I'm allowed past the midfield line.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very happy to be here. But Aston Villa 3 in a thriller against Leeds, really good fucking game. Daniel James, I wonder if United might want to use him now that he seems to have got some confidence about finishing. This was the 3rd time that Leeds tried to get him. He finally is on the team. He's finally shooting and scoring. So now we were worried about Leeds and we were worried about Bamford, but it seems like they've found some goal scoring. But Aston Villa, again, this one they blow because they are up 3-1. Coutinho fucking making a difference, setting up Ramsey twice. Ramsey out of the midfield, 19 and 20 years old, out of their academy. He's one of their own. He looks like a motherfucker who likes to score goals, and it looks like Gerrard has looked this kid in the face and said, listen, you brummy scum, I'm Scouse scum, and this is how we do scum.
Yeah.
And really pushed him on, and he's got a swagger to him. And again, there are teams that we love. There are things that make an impression, and I just get the feeling from Villa that something's happening. They're adding in the right places. I think the next spot will probably be, as much as Mings feels like a heart and soul guy for them, he seems to have at least one fuck up per game that you're just like, my guy, does Salisu go there and just fucking take Villa into the top 6? And should you be worried? Ooh. Should Spurs be worried? I mean, Villa historically are the 4th team in England. It's United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Villa.
No, but by the way,
I'm talking about over 100 years.
When you say, should Spurs be worried about Villa? Should Spurs be worried about Newcastle? Who Spurs should be worried about?
Spurs.
Fucking Spurs. Okay, there's more than enough there to keep them busy. So I don't want to hear it. Like, we're gonna be 9th next year.
Listen, it could happen. It could happen very easily. There is not a Kane succession plan. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I really like this game. It was really enjoyable. We know how Leeds are going to play. This was up and down. If you look at the shot chart back and forth, it's literally back and forth.
Yeah.
So it's an amazing game, worth watching. I really just love fucking Gerrard's Villa. Just playing really well. Daniel James, 3 shots on target, 2 goals, less reliance on Raphael, but still no moves for Leeds. They're going to hang on and let Daniel James carry them to the line. They won't go down. I'm still curious about what Aston Villa are going to do around Ollie Watkins and Danny Ings. It appears they can't play together. It doesn't seem to work when they do. So that'll be someone who has to move on. Does Watkins leave? Maybe it's Watkins to sort of fund all this. He's a runner. He's not a great finisher. He's in the Danny Welbeck mode of badasses. He's a better finisher than Danny Welbeck, but you know what Danny Welbeck theoretically is. I mean, I like him for any team. Like Spurs would be good with him. He's got that Englishness. He's got that fight. But do they move Ings? Would you want Ings at Spurs at this point?
No, he's middle class.
Yeah, he's a guy that if you can do 15 minutes when you're down kind of guy, he's still an incredible finisher.
Yeah.
He has all the shots, right? He's got the spin, he's got the overheads, he's got the tight space, he's got the movement. He just can't stay on the field, and it's a problem.
So let's go to Saturday's games real quick. There's not a whole lot there. There's two for me. If I look at them quickly, it's the early game on Saturday, United and Southampton. Can Southampton keep it rolling? United have a wobble. They're very suspect right now.
They're so up and down, Southampton. I want to say Southampton. I mean, away makes it tough, but they just went to Spurs. I don't trust them to put in 2 performances in a row.
In 3-4 days. No, I agree. And it's Southampton and Spurs and United are the quality is different. There's a gap there, obviously, but they're very up and down. They're very unreliable, right? Like after really a shit kicking of Brighton in the FA Cup, I was like,
you guys were really good.
Spurs are going to take it to Southampton. They're going to beat them by multiple goals. I took them -1, and they're going to kick on in this top 4 race. And then here we are. So
what do you think the line is for Southampton?
For Southampton against United?
Yeah.
Money line, I would say they are probably plus 250 or so. I'm going to look right now. 460. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
That's a lot.
Okay. It is a lot. It's a lot of cheddar. I like a draw in this game, I think, and just because I don't trust United or Southampton. So, but it was interesting to see them. And I think I heard either it was Hasenhüttl or something along those lines. Like we took advantage of Spurs when they were ahead because we knew that they would play passive from a leading position. So I don't know that that'll be the case with United. I don't know if they'll be ahead late in the game.
There's so much. The thing is, it'll be a meeting of minds. I do want to give credit to United, and this is something I don't like to do. They've really yet to put 2 halves together. They are playing better.
Yeah.
Like there is something happening. It is clunkily going together. I think Maguire is kind of a problem. He's being asked to do something he can't do, which is being the covering defender. He needs to be the one who's aggressive and just doesn't think. He needs to be the Soyuncu and let Varane stand back. The problem is, like I said before, they're both betas. Neither of them are real. Doesn't strike me as a leader. Like I would feel better with Maguire having Ramos next to him than having him with Varane.
Yeah.
But Ramos is bad at this point. But like,
he's just old.
Just in terms of here, you stand here, or like if Thiago was with Maguire, I think would be better. I think you sort of see that pairing where Maguire should be in front of Varane moving around, and Varane should be like, you stand here, I'll cover you because you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Right. 3 other games actually I could probably find some interest in on this Super Bowl weekend, which by the way, NBC Sports sent us a hot sauce package. I signed up.
How did I get that?
Fucking know. I signed up for this thing and it was like, do you like the NFL? I was like, no. Like, do you like the Premier League? I'm like, quite a bit. And they're like, okay. It was just this like form, and I had no idea what I was even signing up for. And Wednesday literally right before the match, knock on the door, and it's a package from UPS. And it was, I think I showed you the picture. It was like 3 hot sauces. They were pretty good, and I love hot sauce. So I was like, this is fucking awesome. So shout out to NBC Sports.
I see lots of good games, honestly. Thank you, NBC Sports. We'll take anything that you send us. I think Brentford Palace.
That's the next one I was going to go to. So they're next to each other in the bottom mid table, if you will. I guess the top of the bottom. if you
The lower middle
want to look at
class.
it that way. Yeah. So Brentford at home. These are two teams that no matter who's home, it's a tough place to play. I want to still believe in Brentford.
They're starting
I'm
to
running out of gas on Brentford.
I think
so I don't know.
Palace should take this one. Palace are really, really good.
Yeah.
Their goal difference doesn't really show their quality. They're actually better than their numbers show in terms of their points.
Mm-hmm.
I think United Villa now is a really fucking cool game, especially at St. James's Park. I think Gerrard gets these kinds of things. I think his team gets events. He understands crowd. They're an emotional team. I think Villa Newcastle on Sunday could be a really good game that I would tune into. And then I think your team's game is a big one.
Yeah.
I think Wolves against Tottenham, I could see a scoreless draw happening, but I think it's a big game for you.
No, I do. Here we go again. I do think Spurs will take the points, and here's why. Wolves sort of had their dick kicked in the dirt a bit. Like you said, they're not feeling the juice after the Traore sale. Mm-hmm. And Conte might have killed someone after that game, and it probably was Emerson Royal or Pierre-Emerick Højbjerg.
But so where's Skip? I thought you guys were better with
Skip. They rotated him out. I don't know exactly why.
Did he hurt?
No, I think he played in the FA Cup game.
Have we seen Winks skip?
Yeah, we have. And it's serviceable for sure. But I think that was the changing of the guard the other day where it's like, all right, we can't do this shit anymore. I think you'll see Doherty in the right wing back position.
Yeah, I certainly hope so.
By the way, it's an old game for him. It's his old club.
It's one of those games. Yeah,
he'll be charged up for that. And then I think that leading the line, I think that Sonny, Kane, and Lucas have looked great, frankly, which is kind of weird to say.
Good group.
So I think that this could be a multiple goal victory for Spurs, not because there's all that great, because there's really not much to write home about with Wolves at the moment. I know that they've got a strong defense, but I think that they're just kind of in between like modes right now. So there he goes again.
Maybe we'll see Kulusevski and Betancourt just take those roles and just be
like, I don't think Kulusevski is going to walk into the team. I think Betancourt could right now. But I think Kulusevski is in a perfect spot.
And I didn't think someone
off the bench.
I didn't think we'd need Dyer badly, but he's going to have to take one of the left or right back.
He's got to take one of them. Yeah, I mean, I think
Davies
Romero has been good, right? Like Romero has been good. It's just,
but he's not a great defender. He needs to be in the middle.
Well, no, you're victim of Sanchez and not Doherty and Davies on either side of you. Like, how good can you really be? So, if he gets Dyer next to him, they're both sort of that alpha, but I think that they would communicate well. They haven't played much together because Romero got hurt pretty early in the season. So I'm curious to see how that would work out. But I think that would create some stability, and especially in a back three, I should say. Dyer does have the ability to step forward into that hybrid DM CB role.
Yeah. And then I wonder, this Leicester Wolves game would have been Leicester West Ham game would have been
usually
interesting normally, but this is weakness against strength.
I would say
West Ham. Okay, you want to take the fucking best bet of the season?
Yeah.
West Ham to score a goal on a set piece against Leicester. Book it, find it. However you do it, I promise you they will score a goal.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just going to happen. And it's going to be Souček. Sorry. Even book it. Souček to score on a header.
Antonio
is and then how much do we love my friend Jared Bowen?
You love him.
He's a fucking legend, dude.
He's great. He's
on, what is he on now? I think he's like, I gotta look now.
Jared Bowen for Golden Boot. Actually, let's see. I'm actually curious how the scoring race is shaping up.
It's Jota and Melne and Salah.
Right. Yeah, that's not fun.
Oh, now he's on 7-7 in the league. 7 goals, 7 assists for Bowen in all comps. In all comps, he's 7-7 from a winger is really fucking
7-7's awesome.
Yeah,
that puts him in the top 5 of production, goals and assists. I think.
Yeah. In all competitions, he's 11-8.
Yeah,
and then a goal plus assist per 90 at 0.6, which is really fucking good.
Yeah.
So he's providing, he's scoring, and he came from fucking Hull City like Robertson and Maguire did.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you're running out of gas.
I've been out of gas for a while. Let's wrap it up. Let's get out of here.
Okay, that was the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast with Mike Salerno and Laurent Cortines. We are the football wing of the Chop Sports Network, and we'll see you on Super Bowl Sunday with the Chop Sports boys. We record on Tuesdays and Fridays, so be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss a show. And Mike, take a rest, take a lap, take an eat, and pray for Spurs.